And away we go. Hello there out there in Videoland. Can we still be friends? Yeah, okay, sure. Why not? What do I care? Of course we can be still friends. Why wouldn't we be? Anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope you had a great weekend. It was a wild weekend. We had rain on Saturday. It wasn't a bad day on Sunday and a nice day on Monday. Yesterday was beautiful out. So, yeah, we're back into the summer mode here. It's 76 degrees out there today. So, I hope you all had a happy and safe Canada Day long weekend. For any of you who did special things or took off for the weekend, and a lot of people came here for the weekend. It seemed pretty busy in town, and the highways were a little bit jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive to Niagara Falls. Trying to get here through traffic congestion in the tourist areas, of course. Some roads were closed, as usual, on long weekends as the festivities for Canada raged on across the country. It's great to see people back and enjoying themselves in the falls, and I wonder how the rubber traffic tire coming over the bridge was. I haven't had any reports from anybody, but I'm just hoping they were okay because you know what? The traffic coming over the bridge is one of our mainstays in the summer. We get that American traffic. We love the Americans coming over with their strong dollar and having a ball spending it in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Here we are again, right across from the Meteor Crater. And if you don't know what that is, well, you got to get with it. That's all I can tell you. Come downtown, see the Meteor Crater, and don't pay attention to anything else. So before we get going with Trash Talking Tuesday, and we already kind of started, and I have to mention my sponsors: Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. So Wild Bill's, the weather's nice. You want your air conditioning working. You're going on those trips. Your kids are off school now, and you know you're going to go somewhere. They want to do all kinds of stuff for the summer, and you usually take your car to do them, right? So why wouldn't you take your car to Wild Bill's, go see Ken Hunter, and ask him to give your car the once over? Be proactive. Throw it on his diagnostic equipment. He will tell you if it's running tip top and will fix anything that isn't. When you hit the potholes that abound in Niagara Falls, yeah, you might need an alignment. Get it done. Get everything checked out before you go on your trip. You don't want to break down on the side of the road. Be proactive. Get them done. And at the end of the day, you're going to be happy. Your kids are going to be happy. You won't have to listen to your wife. It's just a good thing to do. Make sure your car's running tip top. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Go down and tell Ken Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and make sure your car is running great for these next 3 months moving into the summer. And then you get it, take a look at it for winter, of course. So it's always changing in Canada. This is the way we live, right? This is the way it is. So a good weekend, and I think if you didn't see last Friday's show, I think you should. I always say see now because before it used to be here, and can hear it the podcast on 4680q.com. You can always go there and hear the podcast. But there's also a video on YouTube with Mike Lucid in the studio, and it was a great show, and we blew apart the University of Niagara Falls and what's going on with it so that big story. Go watch the video and see what you think, and it's all about getting involved. We don't get the full story a lot of times, so I try to bring it to you here and give you my opinion. And in this case, Mike Lucid came in. He's been watching this for a long time. Go see that. You will be very, very in the loop if you go watch it, and you might even be concerned about what's going on with it, especially what's been going on with other universities of the same caliber all over the place, and find out the real reason that the private universities exist and what it means for Niagara. And one thing I didn't get on Friday that I have to find out. Salute. is how much the city has invested in this thing, if anything at all. That I didn't get, and that I don't know, but I'm sure somebody out there, John Ringo Beam, I'm talking to you, can probably tell us exactly what was spent on this scheme. We're going to have to find that out. But anyway, some of the repercussions of Mayor Jim's 10,000 to 15,000 students coming downtown are being felt in other places where they have these global online university systems. And some of it is not pretty. So go see the show. You got to watch the show. It's on YouTube last Friday or on 4680q.com. You can listen to the podcast. Go check it out. So this weekend, man, it was a big weekend in sports, really. We started out with the draft on Friday night, and then we ended it with free agent frenzy on Monday, yesterday. So we've had a lot going on with the NHL. These are the two big days, draft days. So we saw where the players actually got drafted to, what teams they got drafted to, and who made out like bandits and who didn't. Well, Toronto Maple Leafs did all right, I think. I think that the Nashville Predators definitely are out to make a mark this year. They're buying the stairway to heaven because they picked up Stamkos from Tampa Bay, who played there all his career, and he jumped ship. Marchessault from Vegas they picked up, and a host of other players. So they picked up some pretty big names, pretty good players. So we're going to see how that's going to help them this year. And also, Toronto Maple Leafs picked up a couple of really good players. One of them, Tanev, was a defenseman, which they need, and another goaltender who I don't think he's going to be a big factor. But anyway, everybody's trying to improve for next season, and we'll see how it goes when we get to next season. But they call it free agency on Monday. These guys are all picked up a free agency. And I laugh when they call it that because, it reminds me of the Frito Bandito in Niagara Falls. Everything's free. Well, nothing's free. Free agency cost owners over $1.2 billion with a B billion dollars this year. That's what they spent on free agency. It's a new record as salary cap for teams escalate to about $89 million this year. So some big money went to these available superstars. And it's going to be a real interesting season when we start up in October again. So keep your eyes out for that. They picked up some good players, some of these teams, and they're going to be a little bit more competitive, and especially in our division. Boston Bruins picked up a couple of good players. I don't know how much it's going to help them, but they're excited anyway. So we'll see what happens when it's all said and done. If you see me waving, it's because people that walk by there every day here, they see me and they wave and I don't know if they're fans or not, but they wave anyway. Oh man, so yeah, check that out. Watch for the NHL this year. We still have another 3 months, though. It doesn't start to the beginning of October, so we got July, August, September. September we get into training camp and that kind of thing, and then we go right into the October start of the season. So you think we're having bad weather here? I mean, I heard a lot of people complaining a little bit last week because it was a little bit chilly, and June really wasn't a phenomenal month. And even over the weekend, I mean, the sun was out, and in the sun it was nice and warm and really nice. It was pleasant. But you get in the shade, and that breeze was a little bit chilly, to be honest with you. Well, if you think we're having bad weather, try sucking on a Cat 5 hurricane that's blowing through the Caribbean right now and barreling down on Jamaica in those islands there, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and onward to the Yucatan Peninsula, the Yucatan. And that's like Cancun and Playa del Carmen and all places north and south. Yeah, so they're going to get hammered here. I'm still not sure exactly where it's going to go, but Jamaica's in the eye for sure. They're going to get it. They're going to get hit good. And they're preparing right now. That's going to happen around Wednesday, I think. And right now it's blowing around the Caribbean as a Cat 5, so that's pretty big, 200-mile-an-hour winds. So it's going to be crazy. So we're going to watch that for the rest of the week and see where it hits and what happens. But they're going to get a big blow down there, and where it hits the tourist areas of the Yucatan. We'll see when it decides to come ashore. It's going to be interesting. Keep an eye on that one, and if you got vacations planned for that area, I'd rethink them. Even if the hurricane's gone by, there's going to be some major destruction, and they may not have these resorts open again. We saw that happen in a lot of places, especially Cuba when they got hit about 4 or 5 years ago. Now, the of course, it's the earliest record, the earliest Category 5, the biggest storm on record for this time of year, because this is a little early in the hurricane season, but it's blowing through anyway. And of course, the climate change wackos, all those people are yell about climate change every day. Yep, they're rubbing their hands in the light. See, I told you it's climate change. No, there's been big hurricanes before in June. That's why they make the season June 1st to November 30th. That's what the season is. And it does, just because we're at the very beginning of it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. If those storms that come spinning off of Africa, the west coast of Africa, come across the Caribbean, pick up steam with the warm Caribbean water, they can turn into a hurricane and anytime they organize into a hurricane. So it has nothing to do with climate change. This is called weather. These things happen. And this could be a big blow, and you might not see another one for 2 months. It's just the way it is there. They can happen anytime. But if you're going to go in that area, yeah, I'd check your flights and everything. You may not be able to go for the next month or so, depending on how bad it hits these islands. Okay, so the big news, I mean, we've talked about a lot of the news on the weekend, but the big news really was this presidential debate that I haven't had a chance to talk to um, on Thursday. And I don't know if you watched it. I think probably most people did, because at the end of the day, it was a pretty big blow. And it was a pretty big blow to the Democrats and an unmitigated disaster for Joe Biden. Now, people out there who have TDS, um, Trump derangement syndrome, if you don't know what TDS is, they were looking for Biden to have a great debate, claiming, like, this Karine Jean-Pierre, his press secretary, that all the stumbles and mumbles and blank stares and wandering into space were cheap fake videos. Yep, every time Biden was shown to be out of it with dementia, all just cheap fake videos. They were doctored to make him look bad, and they all lied to us. All the Democratic Party lied to us. All the Democratic, this left wing press lied to us. That, oh no, he's as sharp as a tack. They're all liars, and they're all cheats. And they lied to us because we saw the real Joe Biden get up on that stage, and he was just way, way, way out of it. He was mumbles, blank stares. He couldn't answer, pauses. I mean, them putting a lid on Trump was the best thing they could have done for Trump, because now Biden has to fill the time he had to talk, and he blew it. But we all saw this in real time. We saw Biden in real time. Everything we've been saying, there it is, right there. And everybody laughs because I call him. I'm going, let's get ready to mumble and all the other stuff. But it was all true. I mean, this guy is not fit. And when Robert Hurd said he did 5 hours of interviews with him, and the guy was a mumbling, demented old man with a bad memory, and they couldn't charge him with the classified documents because it would never roll in court with a guy this age. They weren't kidding. They couldn't do it. This guy is not fit. And yet the scary part is who's been running the country for the last 3 years, 3.5 years, and he's still got another half a year to go. I mean, they said his best hours are between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. Well, what the rest of the day? Being president's 24 hours a day job. I mean, he gets a call from the Middle East saying it's blown up. He's got to be there and guiding this. Well, who's going to do it if he isn't? Now, who's doing it? Everybody else, Obama, Clintons, and everybody else. So after this disaster, which I don't know, I wasn't surprised. This is the way he's been. I don't know what everybody expected from the guy, but obviously they didn't expect that bad of a performance, because they They kept saying he was okay. Well, he's not okay. He's not okay. That's for sure. You know, when a guy's up there bewildered, he couldn't speak for 2 minutes straight. He stopped, couldn't remember what he was talking about, mumbled, and he froze a couple times. He lost his train of thought and just faded away in the conversation because he couldn't finish it. I mean, seriously, would you jump into a car and drive down the road with this guy? I wouldn't. Would you let him fly an airplane? No. You know, like this guy's in bad shape, and he's running a country with his finger on the nuclear football. I don't know. But at the end of the day, as you continue to watch 90 minutes of this disaster, it became sad. It was very, very sad, and you have to feel bad for the guy. He's barely able to talk, and he's up there and staring into space, and it was a sad day, and people finally saw what it was. And of course, now the Democrats are in panic mode. I mean, they've been exposed. He's been exposed, and it's over. So, I mean, his wife, Joe Biden, she should be ashamed of herself for not stopping this thing or for even letting it happen in the first place. I mean, they were with him for a week. They knew darn well what condition this guy was in. And I know you have good days and bad days, but still, they knew it. They had to know it after spending a week secluded with this guy, filling his head with all kinds of stuff. And now they're blaming them, by the way. Oh, yeah, they're blaming them. They talked too much. They gave him too much information. He couldn't deal with it. And of course, when you're on stage, no teleprompters, no notes, nothing, no crowd, nobody to save you. Yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. I mean, the rest of the world's looking on and saying, what have we got here? Okay, China, Xi says, let's invade Taiwan now. We have Bumbler in White House. I mean, they know, and I don't know what's going to happen, but in the next 4 or 5 months, you could see a lot of crazy moves in the world because of this whole thing. And yeah, Joe Biden, I mean, it was disgusting what she did to the guy at the end. She went up to him and said, oh, Joe, you did really good, Joey. You answered every question, like a little kid eating pablum. Yeah, like a little kid eating pablum. And there he is, a little kid eating pablum. And good boy, Joey, you ate all your pablum. Way to go. How embarrassing. Ridiculous. She's a power hungry old bag. And to put her husband up, what kind of respect is that for her husband? That's just terrible. That's just terrible. And yeah, it's sad. He wasted a lot of opportunities. Trump, I mean, and it wasn't all just Biden. I mean, Trump, he did a good job, but I mean, it wasn't hard to overcome Biden, really. But I thought he missed a lot of opportunities. I don't know if it was because he felt bad for the guy or he just. But he hammered on the main things: the economy, the border, international foreign affairs type of thing, and that kind of thing. So inflation, he hit all the main spots. But I thought he could have done a little bit better of a job. But it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't about Trump anyway. Usually Trump sucks all the news out of the media. You don't hear anything about the other guy. You always hear about Trump, but in this case, it wasn't Trump who sucked the air out of it was Biden. Everybody was talking about Biden and how bad he did. So everybody says, oh, Trump. No, it didn't matter about Trump. This was a referendum on Biden, and he failed. So what Trump did doesn't matter whether he made mistakes or they say he told lies or whatever. But, Biden told a ton of lies, of course. You know, yeah, he got caught in a dozen lies, but who knows if he even knows what he's saying? You don't know because he's in such bad shape. But at the end of the day, it was about Biden, and um, you just can't trust the Democrats anymore because they lied, and Biden's a mess, and the donors are going crazy. And now I think he's done, and now the Democrats are looking to replace him, but there's a little bit of a problem. They can't. They can't get rid of him unless he voluntarily steps down. He has all these people who gave him money and voted for him. What do they call them? Super delegates, and everything is for him, and he can't just he's got to give the money back, and then whoever comes in has got to start over again. He can't give that money he got or those votes to anybody else. They're his, and they expected him to run, him and Harris, and he can't give them to Harris because she's so incompetent. Nobody would vote for her. That's a losing cause right there. So the Democrats are basically stuck with Biden, and short of invoking the 25th and getting him out of there, or him dying mysteriously. That's the way it happens, mysteriously. I don't think there's much they can do, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But he did a rally right after the disaster on Thursday night and on Friday. He says he knows he's old. He knows he doesn't debate as well as he used to. But he knows how to do one thing: tell the truth, which was a lie. I mean, that's one thing he don't know how to do. I mean, his uncle didn't get eaten by cannibals. You believe what he says. I mean, he's a big mess. So my question was, so why did Biden debate, and why did the party let him debate if they knew about him and were hiding his condition? Why'd they let him go? Well, there's only one of two reasons. The Biden camp created conditions that were so one-sided, they thought Trump would never consent to them. So they said, we want this, we want this, we want this. And they figured Trump's ego would make him say, no, I'm not going to debate under those circumstances, those rules. But he called their bluff. He called them out. I'll debate anytime, anywhere, under any rules. And all of a sudden, bang, they're stuck. Now what are they going to do? And Biden goes on stage. Or number two, some elements of the party that want him out and want the truth exposed about his inability to govern, his inability to talk, his inability to keep his attention span more than 2 minutes for sure. They threw him to the lions to be eaten and disposed of, and then figured we're going to do whatever we have to do after the fact. We'll throw him out and get somebody else in. But take your pick. Either way, it's over. The jig is up. He's exposed. And like I said before, I think Michelle Obama will be the one to run. I said he wouldn't make it the post. I've been saying this for a year. Not to worry, he's not going to make it the post anyway. And the way it appears now is he may not. And he definitely won't make it through the next 4 years. So you elect Biden, you get Harris. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So go take your pick. Hillary, Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom. Either way, somebody else is going to take over. Still don't think he's going to make it. We'll see. But they can't spin that performance. They're trying to now. They're saying it was the cold medicine. They're saying that he was over prepared. They're saying that one bad debate doesn't make a difference. Well, you know what, Joe? You got another one since September that Trump agreed to. And if I was Trump, I'd be pushing for more. And Trump had the worst guys as moderators. I mean, Jake Tapper, who in December called him a Nazi, and Dana Bash, who hates his guts and always has. I mean, but I thought they did a great job. They were fair. They did everything down the middle. They were fair. They did a great job. Congratulations to Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. They were fantastic, and they never really helped Biden a lot. And they, when Trump got off base, they pulled him back to what they wanted to know. Yeah, they were very, very good. I didn't think they were one-sided at all. But from all this, Biden's not the only loser. The left-wing media who've been covering for him the last 4 years are also losers in all this, and they're exposed finally. They claim they're fair, but the results show they're fake news. They're fake news. They cover for Biden all the way. And a lot of people did too. I talked to people. They said, oh, no, he wasn't wandering off. He was waving at the crowd. Obama didn't have to drag him off stage. He was just waving at the crowd and stuff. No. And he didn't wander off. There's some guy behind him parachuting, but all the other people were looking one way, and he just wandered off, falling up the stairs on Air Force One. They had to bring the other stairs, falling off stage, stumbling, mumbling, bumbling. I mean, you can spin it any way you want, but the bottom line is we saw last Thursday where Joe Biden is on the scale of dementia. And if it runs to 7, he's 5. They can't cover up anymore. So it's going to be interesting. Keep your eyes open. There's lots going on. I mean, lots going on because Biden's still on the trail. He's still out there talking. Trump's on the trail, still out there talking. And Trump got a real step ahead of the election interference agenda. Now the Supreme Court of the U.S. has ruled that a president has certain immunities in Trump's favor and also upholds the Constitution when it comes to presidential immunity. So that's fantastic. The SCOTUS define executive powers outlined in the Constitution, and it defines official acts as opposed to unofficial acts, which applies to Trump. The lower courts are SOL. I mean, their witch hunt against Trump will be over. The gag order lifted. The election interference over with. Now the Democrats are beside themselves. They're totally freaking out. With Joe Biden actually getting up there and doing a speech on this, just totally undermining the Supreme Court of the United States and actually using his bully pulpit out of the White House as a campaign ad. I mean, he basically was there campaigning, telling people not to vote for Trump because if they do, this Supreme Court ruling is going to mean he's going to be a dictator. Now, I've never seen this before. These speeches out of the White House about things like this don't get political. He gives his comments. He thinks it was a wrong decision. And Sotomayor, he backs her up 100% from what she said, who was a Supreme Court judge. But he weaponized Alan Bragg, Judge Menichin, and sent Washington Special Prosecutor Jack Smith to New York to cause trouble. Now that's all on the shelf. And I mean, I don't even know why he called a press conference. And if he did, he should have stuck to the immunity issue. But he was campaigning, and I don't know what um, the courts won't hold people responsible. They never held him responsible. Nobody is above the law, and he was because they said he was criminally liable for having those classified documents as senator, but they aren't going to charge him. So now that guy's got trouble. It's a big mess, and Trump's being sentenced in 9 days on July 11th for his 34 felony counts, which is going to be overturned in an appeals court anyway. So Biden, this guy is truly a douche extraordinaire who doesn't follow any rules of conduct. I mean, he's a goof, and you know what? He's proven it every day, and now he's going to be gone. Okay, enough about that. We've wasted half the show on that, but this is the big thing that's happening right now. Other than maybe I'll talk a little bit about our fall election that may be coming up, so get ready for that. I want to get Tony Baldinelli in here, our MP, to talk about that. If he feels they're going to call a fall election, and and just a little bit about Pierre Poilievre and what he actually his platform is, and where he's going to go with this, and what he thinks, Tony. So we may still get him in. I think they're broke for the summer now. He's back anyway. I saw him. He was at the Canada Day parade. I never saw him there. I never went, but I saw pictures of him there. So I may give him another shot and see if he can come in, and we'll talk about that fall election. So over to these EVs. Who doesn't love EVs? Well, I don't. I think they're a bunch of baloney. BMW isn't liking them too much anymore. Neither is Ford. Neither is GM. Neither is Stellantis. Neither is Volkswagen. I mean, the people have really, really spoken with their wallets about EVs. And, they're not the latest brand. Volkswagen is not the latest brand to say woe to the EV horse. They tempered their halt with the future is EV, but the past is not over. So they're closing down these VD plants, I guess. And they said the future is EV, even though they're saying the past is not over. There's my buddies out there. See, they go by every day. Look at Omar. Omar's dancing out the street. He's doing I don't know what he's doing, some kind of shuffle out there. But the big lie's over. I mean, EVs are pieces of crap. Their batteries are going to be an ecological disaster sometime in the future when these all come and their lifetime ends. Mining the stuff that is used to make them is terrible, and the coal fired plants and all the plants they have to build to power them up is terrible to keep them charged. So there's nothing good about them. Nobody wants them, and that's why all these guys are stopping production. And they don't. People just don't like overpaying and being forced to bend to government insane demands. They just won't do it. Woke and go broke, buddy. So that means Ford, GM, Mercedes, and BMW are basically out for now. They're all pausing and reevaluating their EV strategies, which means they're being massacred in the markets. They're reevaluating, which means there's no sales. That's a double speak. That's the double speak for no sales, right? Reevaluating the market. What they're saying is we have no sales. We're going broke in this. We're losing billions from these EVs that everybody supposedly wanted and nobody wants. So yeah, look for a hiatus on them. Then I just read Fisker went broke. That was another, I think, electric one that they're out of business now. You're going to see a lot of them. I mean, the big boys can just quit production. They don't have to go broke. But these other little ones that are making them, they're not selling anything. Pretty tough to keep the business running. Tesla might be okay because they're the flagship, sort of. And there still is an element, but they could have oversaturated the market too. They could have reached the saturation point. There's only so many people who want these EVs, and they may have already reached that point in the market. Now it's done for at least a little while, so we'll see what happens. So my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. If you've ever been down the street at night and you've seen these houses all lit up beautifully, and you go, "Wow, look at those lights! How did this guy put them all up there?" Well, he didn't. It was Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, the leader in outdoor permanent lighting. Yes, they're permanent lights. They're up there for good. Somebody didn't climb a ladder and put them up for the summer, or they didn't put them up for Halloween and they're orange, or they didn't put them up for St. Patrick's Day, now they're green, or Christmas red and green, or Canada Day. You might have saw some houses on Canada Day decorated red and white. That's Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And these things go up on your house. You can't even see them in the daytime. Everything matches your trim and everything. And then at night is when they come alive. You turn those babies on, and they're just gorgeous. All warranty, 10-year warranty on these lights, LED, so they don't destroy your pocketbook. And all the different joints, because they have zones, so you can, on your phone, you can change the colors in different zones. That's how you get the red and whites and the green and whites and green and reds or whatever you want. But they're all soldered together, sealed from dust and water. Don't have to worry about them. And besides, they follow up once a year to make sure that everything's running good and there's no problems. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, the leader, 10-year warranty, financing. You want to Griswold your house and really light her up? They get the financing. You don't have to plop down a bunch of C notes. No, you just get the financing. They'll take care of you. Easy, affordable payments, and you're going to have a really, really beautiful house. How do you get them? You pick up the phone and you call Colin Buckborough at 289-969-1797. Colin Buckborough's the owner. He will come over, give you a free quote, and then if you decide you want to go ahead, he's going to do a professional job putting these lights up for you. You won't be disappointed. If you would like to see some of what they do, you can go to glowstonelighting.com, just like it sounds, glowstonelaghting.com, and you'll be able to see what the kind of work that they do. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, Colin Buckborough, once again, 289-969-1797. Support our sponsors. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Now, the phone was ringing here, but I'm in the middle of the commercial and I didn't want to pick it up. So I don't know who it was. I don't have call display here, but it was ringing. So I don't know. Sometimes I get calls from some of the listeners, Gary Wilkins and other people. And then sometimes it's just telemarketers calling, believe it or not. I ask them if they want to go on the radio. They never want to. But I'd love to get them on the radio and go with that, right? So I read a great story in about the region, and I want to relay it to you because this is something I've been saying for a long time now. Nobody ever listens to me, but I've been saying it for a long time. And the region stood firm on their flag raising policy and will raise no more foreign country flags. Bravo, bellissimo. Good for you. Council voted 25 to 2 to amend the municipality's policy on flying flags and lighting the sign at regional headquarters, despite pushback from Palestinians and their supporters. Well, you know what? Screw them. The amendment removed the option to fly national flags other than Canada's and clarified the sign lighting request to match. Bravo! Common sense. Guess what? We are getting into an age of common sense. Could this be? I don't know. But this is common sense. Why would a regional government want to get involved in geopolitical movements? Forget about it. You're not flying the Palestinian flag, the terrorist Hamas flag. No, you're not. You're not going to fly the Israeli flag or the French flag or the Canadian or anything but the Canadian flag. If you have a regional flag, put it below the Canadian flag. If you have a British flag or whatever the heck we are, we are still a territory of Britain. Fly that if you want below that. But other than that, no flags. And I hope this city council takes this to heart and does the same thing here and extends it to any group that wants a flag flown. No, no flags. Figure it out. You guys' job, you're there in city council, regional council, take care of infrastructure, sewers, waste treatment, roads, infrastructure, not to become involved in geopolitical struggles and take one side or the other where both sides get mad at you. You're not going to win it. So just get out of that business. You don't want to be involved in it. So this is great. Of course, there's always other people on city council that voted against stopping it. And it's always the same people: Hoffman, Bateman, Kaiser, Husan. They're all wanted the Palestinians to speak to council. So imagine that. But anyway, they're done. It's over, and that's that. Oh, I don't know. That phone rang once and then it hung up. Didn't ring anymore. Somebody's trying to get through, and if it rings again, I'll grab it. But for now, no. So finally, some common sense comes to council. Oh, it's ringing again now. Let's see if our council follows suit. Can we expect any common sense from our council in Niagara Falls? Stay tuned. Let's see who's on the phone. Your city, your voice, Paul speaking. Good. What's going on, Gary? It's Gary Wilkins on the phone, but I can't get you online because, of course, I've got everything. Nobody will be able to hear you. So, what do you have to say? Help. Oh, yeah, I lost Gary. Sorry, Gary had something to say, but I lost him, and I can't put him online because I'm recording this. I'm videotaping it, so I can't plug him in. Well, I can plug him in, but if I plug him in, you're not going to be able to hear him. So it really doesn't matter. He can just ask me what he wants to ask, and I'll get it online for sure, and we'll go from there. But back over to these judges in courts. I always talk about them and how they're the scourge of our society. The sentences are lame. The judges are lame. I still say they should be elected so they're responsible to the people and actually hand down sentences. But this is one of those you be the judges. Except there's no, I could put it as a you be the judge, but I think you're going to judge everything the same way I am anyway. So why am I so irate about this? Well, get this. A guy rear ends a car on the highway and takes off. That's bad, right? Hit and run, rear ends a car, could injure people, and then he takes off. Now, here's the judge. They catch the guy, and he goes to court. The judge freaks out on the guy, telling him he's lucky it's a joint submission or he'd throw his ass in jail. Well, joint submission is basically where the prosecutors and defense get together and they figure out something. And they figure out a deal, a joint submission by them agreeing with this deal. He calls the guy. He tells the guy he's sick and tired of people driving like this and that the guy's a menace on the road and that he could have killed or injured someone. The judge called them selfish and everyday people cut people off. drive too fast, tailgate and cause accidents, just like you did. He admonished him. It's the people like you that cause insurance rates to go up. So he gave it to him pretty bad before his ruling. I mean, you think this guy's in trouble? Oh, he's going to get the book. He's going to get the book. After this, the guy already had an outstanding impaired driving charge on his record and was supposed to be in a car with a device to prevent him from driving if he has been drinking. So the car he was driving didn't have a device. Okay, so hold that thought. I'm going to get this phone. Yes, Gary. What do you got for me? Yeah, sure, sure. He wants to give Gary wants to give a shout out to a couple of city employees. Okay. Okay. Mark Richardson and Lori Lococo a shout out for replacing. What did they replace? Oh, the Canadian flags. Okay. Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Gary. But so apparently the Canadian flags were decrepit on. I think he said on Clifton Hill and at the cemetery. And Mark Richardson and Lori Lococo got them replaced, and they look fantastic now. Thanks, Gary, for that. And they do deserve a shout out. I mean, we are Canadian, and the flag should never be tattered or flown, ripped or anything like that. That's a disgrace. So it's great that they got replaced. Thanks, Gary, for that, because although we do yell and scream about things, and we are quick to criticize, it's nice to see that Gary also gives credit where credit is due and gives shout outs to people who do good stuff in the city. Thanks, Gary. Okay, so back to this course. So the guy that was driving, he didn't have a device. He was supposed to be in a car with a device to prevent him from driving if he'd been drinking, but he was driving a car that didn't have that. So you have to figure the judge is going to throw the book at him, right? Wrong. So this is really not a you be the judge, although you can judge what should happen to this guy. He should go away for a long time and everything pulled and everything else. So what he got, 6 months conditional sentence, with the first 3 months to be served under house arrest. Seriously? His second drunk driving offense here. Smashes into somebody from behind and takes off. So they couldn't prove that he was drunk when he did it, but the judge said you probably were. I mean, this is the way you operate. Um, he also imposed a 12-month driving ban on the guy. Like the guy's gonna actually observe that. Come on. The guy smashed into somebody and took off. He's driving a car that was supposed to have a breathalyzer thing in it to start it, and he drove anyway. You think he's going to care about a 12-month driving prohibition? And this right here. This right here is just another case, and I go through these all the time with everybody of why there's a huge increase in crime and we can't get impaired drivers off the road. I mean, these judges, I don't care if there's a joint submission or anything. This judge should have said no. He's a judge, right? He has power. He should have said no. I am not accepting this. This is not enough for the guy. He's going away for 5 years. And he's going to have his license suspended for life. This is the second rodeo here. No, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Liberal judges, liberal courts, turnstile courtrooms. Walk in, give the guy $25, tell him you're sorry, and walk out. And just go do it again and again and again. Steal cars, get caught in the courts. $100 bail out in the street, stealing cars, get caught again. Oh well, I won't do it again. I realize the error of my ways. I found God. Out on the street again, stealing cars. It's a never-ending cycle. It's a revolving door, and until they get serious about crime, I don't care if you have all these task force from the OPP or RCMP. I don't care about any of that. Because unless the judges keep these guys in jail, they're out the next day laughing at the cops. I mean, there's pictures of guys who walk out of court and just give the cops the finger on the way out because they laugh at them. They know they're not going to be in jail. That means nothing. I'll be out in an hour. No use arresting me. I'll be out in an hour anyway. Well, you're going anyway, and right away they're out. Sometimes on their own recognizance. I mean, they don't even have to put up bail or anything. I'll be a good boy, and then half the time the guys take off. If they're immigrants, illegal immigrants or immigrants, they just jump on a plane and get out of here before anybody finds out who they are. They got 10 or 12 IDs. Nobody knows who the hell they are. That's a joke. Over to the Niagara Falls Review, and I saw a headline here that kind of threw me for a loop. And I might be wrong, like, but it said, here's the headline. You tell me what you think about this. Black owners of newly acquired Falcon Inn hope to be catalyst for change. Now, am I the only one that thinks the word black is irrelevant to the story and a little bit racist? I mean, what if the owners were white? Would the headline be white owners of newly acquired Falcon Inn hope to be catalyst for change? Everyone cries about racism and prejudice and everything else, bias and bigot and systemic racism and everything else, critical race theory. I mean, does the color of the new owners really have anything to do with the purchase of this motel and them being a catalyst for change? Why? Because they're black? I don't get it. I mean, I'm not amazed that two black people from the Caribbean can actually operate a motel. I'm not amazed by that at all. As a matter of fact, congratulations to them. Congratulations. Would it would it be, maybe it wouldn't be a headline if they were white? I don't know. After all, we know whites can run motels, right? And so can Italians and Serbians. What like I just don't understand that word in there. It's totally irrelevant to anybody. You read the story about the new owners, you can see they're black. I mean, I just don't get it. People always take me to task. They call me a racist all the time. You're a racist because you want to get rid of immigrants and illegal aliens and everything. You're a racist. I just find that headline a little odd. Sure, if you want to mention their heritage in the article, saying that there are not any Jamaican, Caribbean people that own hotels in the city, okay. But it's odd to have it as a headline. I just don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical. I just don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's a little bit weird? I did. Either way, congratulations to these two entrepreneurs for taking on this project, and I wish them all the best in their endeavor. I mean, this is fantastic. Also, thanks to White Italian Ray Spaterio, the review, for writing an interesting article. It was a really good article. I'm glad for these people. But like I don't know. I don't know. It just struck me as an odd title for it. I just don't see how that serves anything. It really doesn't. Now I'm going to get people commenting that I'm racist and stuff or whatever. Anyway, over to the Niagara Regional Police. We just talked about crime in that, right? The Niagara Regional Police overtime is up in the first 3 months of the year by a whopping 21,000 hours. In 3 months, 21,000 hours. And that's up 4,111 hours from last year. And you know what that means? Cha-ching! More tax dollars have to go into the police force. The $188 million budget is going to get blown out of the water. And guess what that means? Your wallet's going to get lighter in 2025, millions later. I mean, if you translate that amount, that 21,000 hours, to dollars, it's close to a cool $1 million. And that's only for the first quarter. And that's spent on overtime. Million with an M. Now, of the 21,000 overtime hours, 9,438 were to meet minimum policing hours. So that tells me they're short a couple hundred full-time people. If you base it on a 40-hour work week, I mean, are you kidding me? We need over 200 more police just to get minimum policing requirements. I mean, we already have 772 officers on the job. And the really weird thing is, did this need just appear all of a sudden out of nowhere? I mean, isn't this something that the police boards and and see and should be dealing with it beforehand. I mean, I know that Niagara region is growing. We are a growing region, especially in Niagara Falls. We've seen a huge influx in the number of people that inhabit the city, obviously generating more calls to the police. The transient criminals are coming here for sure. Um, we know that because crime is up huge in this area as the scumbags travel down the QEW and bring their misery here. But still, that didn't happen overnight. It's been coming down the QEW. It slowly migrated from Toronto to Hamilton and then the region. I mean, did they not see this? And with the building and everything else going on, did they not know they'd have to have more police to patrol the new areas and that kind of thing? And with people coming in from out of the country, the immigrants, did they not know there's going to be trouble? I mean, it's just one of those things, especially when you're allowing refugees to come in, you don't know who you're getting. This should be a natural. Now, Hamilton has 829 officers, about the same size of an area to patrol as the region, and a lot more crime. Not sure what their actual overtime hours were in the first quarter for 2024, but in 2023, their overtime hours amounted to $6.3 million worth. And I just don't get why they're not spending money on new officers. They're spending the money regardless. Why not hire more people? I mean, more officers on the street is better, no? But yet the woke individuals want to cut the police. They want to defund the police. But the 5.3 million equals 66 more full-time officers on patrol, or the 6.3 million, I should say. So, I mean, crime going up. All these regions are expanding. They're expanding the urban boundaries and that. So the end result will be the budget increasing to account for the overtime when they sit down in 2025, when they make the budget for 2025. I would say so. And, Trudeau's bringing in 1.5 million more immigrants in the next 3 years, and we know they're going to Toronto, and we know they're coming here. We know we're going to get our share, guaranteed. It's a never-ending cycle. So our only hope is that somehow the police can rein in the overtime and hold it to a minimum. But, I mean, if they're already short, they can't meet the requirements. It's pretty hard to do that. So, get ready. Get ready. That $188 million budget is going to be going to 199 or 200. You watch. Guaranteed. And of course, who pays for it? Us, me and you. We pay. We always pay. And and I'll tell you a little story here too. So anyway, I'm going to end off with Fireman's Park, Canada Day at Fireman's Park. We never had a parade, of course. It's not downtown anymore. No parade this year. But a big event at Fireman's Park was it looks like it was a huge success. A lot of people attended, even without the traditional parade. The event was fantastic. They had shuttle buses going from, I think, McBain Center, Gale Center, and other points to get people there if they couldn't get there. And from what I read, everybody had a really good time. There was events for the kids, music, food, great weather. It was a nice day yesterday. Not too hot, not too cold. Congratulations to City Hall for their tireless efforts to put this event together. The staff at City Hall, for the people of Niagara Falls. It's always a big event, and people look forward to it. People really do look forward to it. I mean, they look forward to the parade, but they never brought that. So maybe next year they'll have a parade. I don't know. But, leave it at that. Leave it at that, because that's what it's meant for, the people and everything else. But you know what? The politicians can't keep their nose out of it. They come up with some great sound bites for me. I love it, because you always get these guys there and they can't stay away from the camera. They got to talk, yap about everything. So this time it was local MPP, the Frito Bandito, who bewildered me. I'm just sitting there going, what? Saying this. When you take a look at the crowd that's here, the number of people that are out, and most of the events are free, which in today's economy, that's a keyword. So that's what he said. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. But he never does. The whole thing makes no sense, that sentence. But it sounded a little Biden-ish, kind of mumbling and stumbling. But I love when politicians say the word free because, Mr. Bandito, we know nothing is free. Listen to what I'm saying. Nothing is free, Mr. Bandito. No matter what nonsense you're babbling about, someone has to pay, and it usually is the taxpayer. Yeah. Who do you think paid to put that Canada Day thing on? Frio Bandito? City Council? No, we paid. So what's he talking about? Free, this guy. But then again, he probably thinks healthcare is free, and so is dental plans and everything else the socialist NDPs want. They're free. Everything's free. Everything's free. You go to the United States, say you're lucky in Canada. Everything's free. You get free healthcare. Because that's the spin they put on it. And oh yeah, we get free healthcare. We're the luckiest nation in the world. We get free health. It's not free. Yeah, we get healthcare, and that's a nice perk for being a Canadian. You can go to the hospital or go to the doctor, and you don't have to pay. But at the end of the day, you do pay anyway. You know whether you want to admit it or not, you're paying. You're paying with higher taxes. That's how they support it. The government has no money; they get money from us. So I just laugh when he says it. And I mean, does he really believe everything's free? I don't know. Maybe it is. Apparently so. They keep saying it: free healthcare, free dental, everything's free. Everything's free. So why do our taxes keep going up if everything's free? I'm going to look at the capital budget next January, Mr. Bandito, and find the entry for Canada Day celebrations. And it better have a note beside it in the ledger saying that says free. Canada Day celebrations, not $10,000, not $15,000, free. Because the Frito Bandito said it was free. Yeah, these guys blow my mind. But anyway, thanks to Ray Spiteri from the Review for the great Canada Day reports. He wrote a great write up, and that part of that just I just when politicians tell me stuff is free, we know better. Do they think we're stupid or what? Who works for free? Nobody works for free. Well, except me, I'm here. But nobody works for free, So like, why? You know, that's it. I'm not talking about it anymore. I'm glad everybody had a good time at the free Canada Day celebrations, and yeah, forget about these politicians. They're just, I don't even know why they're there. They should, if they're gonna go, just be quiet. You're a citizen. Go enjoy the day and stay off your podium and everything else. Enjoy it. I never saw anybody else talking. He was the only guy. Oh man, I can't wait for the next election. Please, I'm going to say a prayer. We got to get rid of these guys. They all got to go. They all got to go. They all got to go. Okay, so we're winding down the show now, and tomorrow's absolutely. So tune in. We're going to talk a lot about the draft and everything else that went on. It was a big day. Lots going on with the Habs and that. If you want to listen to about the Habs, but we also talk about other teams and what they did and how it's going to affect our division, of course, because it does affect our division. If you want to see the video, go to YouTube. You can watch the video. Give it a thumbs up. Yeah, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I mean, you get notifications when I throw another video on. Subscribe to the videos. Thank you, Gary Wilkins, for calling in. It's always great to have you calling in, and especially when you give accolades to city employees who do a good job. City Councilor Lori Lococo and Mark Richardson from the Cemetery Department, I think he said. Awesome. Way to go. Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Support our sponsors. They pay the way. And get onto YouTube and subscribe and check it out. If you have any comments, message me or whatever. Get a hold of me, and I'll get them on the next show. If you have some comments about this show, I'll get them on the next show. We'll discuss it, and we'll go from there. I know it's tough to call in or text me anymore or Facebook me because I'm using my phone to do the video. But I'm looking to buy a camera maybe to do it, so it frees up my phone again. But until then, just give me a message. Tell me what you'd like, what you didn't like, whatever you have to say. And I've got a guy from Facebook who was going back and forth with me. He seemed to have a lot to say. He lives downtown. He's going to come in and talk about downtown. I love it. I love when people get involved. You don't have to agree with me. I just want to see that you're involved because that's what it's all about. 27% turnout at the election does nothing for this city. We need to get people involved, get them involved in participating in the process. That's what we need. And I'm glad to see this gentleman. Not sure who he is, never met him, don't know him except from the Facebook page. Glad to see him. He says he's going to come in and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about downtown. I love it. Mike Lucid came in, talked about the University of Niagara Falls. I love it. Anybody wants to come in and talk about anything, just let me know. We'll get you in here. I love it. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. We'll see you tomorrow with Absolutely, and Thursday with Straight Talk Thursday. And of course, we're back at Friday on this short week. Finally, Friday comes up on Friday. Have a great day, everybody. Ciao, ciao for now.